Okay.
July.
Call the January meeting to order. Darren's gonna lead us in the invitation.
Fathers, we come to you tonight, Lord, we ask for your hand of blessing upon the food that we just sent up, Lord. We ask that you use it to the nourish of our bodies and us for your service. Lord, give us wisdom and guidance as we go through this meeting, do the business of the county, and represent the fire service. Lord, we ask for your safety as we go about our daily duties and the things that we do, and as people respond and go out on call. All this I ask in Christ's holy and precious name. Amen.
Approval of the agenda.
Make a motion.
Motion, second. All in favor? Any visitor comments? Hearing none. Approval of the December 7th minutes. Got a motion, and got a second. All in favor? Alright. Information items, grant update.
Nothing on any of the grants we normally get.
We still don't have the compressor we're waiting on.
We don't have a delivery date yet, do we?
What was last?
Billy had emailed them a couple of days, 2 days ago, I think, and the middle of February is the projected date for it to be completed.
Thank you. Training report.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission, just take a look at your report as I go down the listing. Starting out the year, January to June classes, auto extrication. Just like to remind everybody that it is a prerequisite for firefighter 2. So if you got members that got firefighter 1 and want to go into firefighter 2, that is a prerequisite. We got 2 currently in right now. I know a lot of them in the past, firefighter 1 took it last February, so a lot of them got it, but right now we got 2. So pump ops, it says 12, but it's completely full, and there's a waiting list. So that's the first time we've ever had a waiting list in my pump ops, so that's excellent. And then I know we'll get some more in firefighter 2 as well. So and the list goes on through there. So just take a look at that. Please continue using 29301. I'm leaving this on there because I still get asked weekly about it. So I appreciate everybody using those numbers. High school program, they're in low angle right now. They're in tech rescue, really intro tech rescue, but they're about to start low angle, and then juniors there in the modular firefighter 1 for that. Active shooter is April 2nd to 4th. That's a Tuesday and Thursday of April. That is during spring break. That is at Andrew Jackson Middle School and High School. So we'll do it kind of like what we did at Lakeshore High School. Practice in the morning, then do drills in the afternoon for that. IST is listed as shown. Southeastern Education is still availability, but it's very few slots. So if you have members wanting to take Southeastern Education School in Florence, Hartsville area, please let me know ASAP for that as well. And then lastly, Mr. Chairman, is FDIC interest. I always send this out this time of the year. We always take 2 volunteers to the FDIC. Please let me know by March the 7th at 5 p.m. of your interest. So anyone that is interested, 5 p.m. March 7th. That is the date of the March Fire Commission meeting for that. You have to be a minimum of firefighter 2. This has been the requirements for years. So firefighter 2 is the minimum training wise, and then the executive committee then looks at whether what level of training, years of experience, and call participation for their selection before they go to FDIC. They will be leaving on Tuesday, April 16th, and returning Saturday, April the 20th for that. So I'll be sending an email out tomorrow morning for that as well, but please just make sure to talk to your members about that. And then lastly is, year-end training, hours. This is in SOG that this is turned in at the January training officers minutes, meeting. So you have to have the year-end training summary and every individual training, training record for that. Right now, I have only 2 turned in, that is Elgin and Flat Creek, alright? So, so please, get those in. It is due at the January training officers meeting. Any questions?
Any questions for Brett? All right, maintenance report?
Mr. Chairman, the commission, I will be sending out the maintenance reports in the morning at a firehouse. And, Chris's, the 10, they got all them scanned through the holidays. I get them sent out tomorrow, hopefully. 644 is still out of service. We do have a repair plan. The problem with the repair plan is the truck's gonna have to sit outside for probably 2 days, and I have to wait on perfect weather for that to happen. I can't let it sit outside in freezing weather because I don't want to repair a bunch of frozen lines and busted tank and pump, busted pump mainly, and pump lines. So we got to wait for the weather because we don't have a facility to put the ladder inside and raise it up, raise the cab. It's all got to be done to be able to remove the steering gear. And then it'll take about 1 day to rebuild the steering gear and get it back in sealed and ready. They just waiting on us to give them the steering gear so they can rebuild it. Then we'll get 644 back in service. It's been a long, drawn out process. I apologize to Elgin, but it's a matter of having a facility to work on something in that we can raise a ladder in. Technically, the only place we can do it is Pleasant Valley, and I don't know that I can get the truck up there without losing all the hydraulic oil. And I wouldn't ask them to do that anyway, but we can wait a couple of weeks on some warm weather, night weather, about 3 or 4 days, and we'll get it knocked out in the process. Other than that, that's the main issue right now. I'm waiting on Pro Poly on Camp Creek's tanker. It's got a leak at the trough at the back that they repaired before, but it's been a long time. So rough roads, Camp Creek rough roads, I can contribute to that 100%, that repair. So just as soon as we hear back from Pro Poly, I figured all the holidays got all messed up. I've been on wait for them on 2 months now on that notification. So we'll be taking it to Blaze of Weather Fabrication for them to do repair up there because they're going to make sure our substructure that they built is still good under the truck also. And we don't have any failures there. Other than that, that's the only 2 trucks majorly we got going on right now. And I reckon we'll talk about the other down in our apparatus equipment.
All right. Any questions for Billy? Budget detail?
Mr. Chairman, members of the commission, the DAI, the 141 budget and 144 budget are in your package. We got word that Ford is finally making F-350s, so we're hoping that we're gonna be getting the trucks that we've got ordered. To be honest with you, Billy and I don't really know how many we got ordered right now. We think 5, is that right, Billy? But, we're expecting hopefully to begin to get delivery on some of those trucks. And that's if you look at the 141 budget, that 10.7, the 11.7 line item is 107% overdrawn, and that's why all those POs are showing there, so they put money in that account. They're covered, don't worry about that. That's why that budget shows so much over. Other than that, if there's a question, I'll try to answer it. If not, everybody's getting their orders in good. I think that's all working along fine. So everything seems to be moving the way it needs to be moving.
Any questions on the budget? All right, V-Safe grants. What'd you find out?
So, looking at the Be Safe grant, if you have not turned in your letter of intent, please do so, for the 2024 grant cycle, for that. I'm looking at mine right now, and they said in January, via email, they'll be providing additional grant funding for that. So basically what that means is if everyone last year in the state, if you're a volunteer, pretty much applied for it, you got to Be Safe. Last year, everyone was awarded $13,350 for that grant, and depending on how many departments put in their intent this year is how much money they divide. So it's the same number, it's gonna be the same number this year. If it's, the departments did the least amount of numbers, that did the letter of intent, that means we'll get more money. Does that make sense? So, still waiting to hear back of how many departments, put in for their grant. Also, for your 2023 V-Safe, please make sure you're doing your update. So it says here every 6 months to do a update, for that. So, we get it. A lot of, you haven't got your equipment in yet, you ain't got all of it in, still provide that update, for that. That's what they're looking for, is just that update before you are available to close out. So, two things, just make sure that you are updating it and do your letter of intent. And if you haven't done your letter of intent yet, then if you already have, then you're good. But I don't believe that it's too late, so go ahead and do it.
Is anybody not doing the VC? It's pretty easy grant to get 13,000 worth of equipment or whatever you need. It's pretty much free money. I mean, it's a pretty easy narrative to get it, and I mean, you got certain sections you can get, but if you need gear or hose, whatever, it's really simple. So,
And I haven't been notified of any chiefs changing with elections that are in December. Probably hadn't had January elections if you're doing in January, but if you change chiefs, make sure you let Ann know quick so we can change that on the portal, because the chief is the one that's responsible for making those applications.
all right, any questions on the Be Safe? All right, move to action items. Fire Commission budget gift card there.
All right, first, Mr. Chairman, first thing, I've gotten the sign-in sheets returned from everybody except Camp Creek, Gooch's, and Unity, and all three of y'all have told me you're gonna probably just drop them by, or somebody's gonna drop them by. But everybody else has turned theirs in, and didn't have that many cards come back in this year, so that was pretty good too. Means most everybody was there, at least active enough to come to the meetings and stuff to get their gift card. So that seems to still be one of the more popular programs we do. So y'all have heard any blowback on it. Nobody's calling here to complain. If anybody had a problem with a card, I haven't been notified of it. So it works pretty good.
Nice.
And on the new budget, we went over that last month for the initial discussion. Let me just tell you again what you decided last month. The first priority, because I did ask you to prioritize it as we went through it. First priority would be the iPad purchase for every First Light engine. And I have to tell you, and I think I explained this last month, that's what's called an interdepartmental request. We had our staff meeting yesterday morning for the county directors. For those who might not know, the entire finance department leadership has retired or moved on. So there's new people being hired for that. The new CFO will be coming in on the 22nd. The person who would be the same thing that Kim Belt was, the financial analyst, financial analyst is hired. I got to meet her yesterday. I think she'll be good to work with. They're going to use about the same process. And I said that all to say that when they say interdepartmental request, I have to make your request to Scott Hernandez with IT. He's the one who makes the purchase. they control and handle the setup of the monthly fees on the monthly service for the iPads to be able to connect. That started last year. So I don't have a number on that yet, what we be talking about budget wise. I do want to include it in our budget request when I do it, just so it doesn't get sidetracked somewhere and somebody makes a mistake and we lose out. So that's priority number one. Priority number two was the hose testing, and get it paid for completely rather than have to use matching funds. So we'll be doing that. And speaking of that, several of you have already emailed in that you want to use your matching funds or a portion of your matching funds to do hose testing this year. Remember, we talked about last month, if you want to do that, you need to email me how much of it you want to save. And then the rest of it you go ahead and spend. But we won't allow it to go through the second and third rounds of people requesting it. We'll hold that for you as long as we know you're going to be doing that between now and the end of the budget year. So that was priority item number two. Priority item number three was the body armor vest. We talked about doing 4 sets per department. And then we went into just different requests. We wanted to add 50,000 to the vehicle maintenance, add another 10,000 per department, I think is what we said. For equipment, right now we get, how much is it Billy, per department? If they fund that. So we asked for a number of different things there. Then we asked for the rescue equipment upgrades to be able to do 2 stations change out per year. I don't have a figure on that yet. And then of course matching funds, we always ask for an extra 2,000 per station there, but for some reason they never give that to us. So. And the last meeting, that was the thing that we talked about. And I had asked you to go and think about it and see if you could come up with anything more that you thought we might need to do. And I did ask you that if you came up with some kind of equipment, to get me a copy of what you were talking about, so that when we're looking for pricing, as I'm making the request, number one, I know what I'm asking for, and number two, we get the right pricing. So, has anybody come up with anything at this point? Nobody sent me anything by email. Are you still good with moving forward? I don't necessarily think you need to vote, but is everybody good with going forward? The budget documents, we were told, probably gonna come out in the middle of February, and we'll begin filling those out. As I don't have the schedule yet. Once I get that schedule, it'll be in your next, I hope, in your next commission package, so you'll know what the budget dates are gonna be, where the key dates are. Everything else has to be common for the regular budget. And I don't know of anything that we need to do tonight on the regular budget.
I'm working on the safety house. The pricing on that is kind of, because we want to upgrade the stove to the full unit that they got now. So I'm working with Line for the upgrades for the system to get back up and going, number one. Number two, to upgrade the stove. I'm trying to get pricing all combined, because right now it's separated, so I can bring it to y'all. I'm trying to have it by this meeting, but it'll be next meeting before I can do that. That way I can bring that to you with an update of all the technology and upgrading the stove prop to make it more of a kitchen prop. That way we can do a little bit more kitchen-wise with children and adults, because we get a lot of oven fires, and that will help simulate that process of this is what you do if you have an oven fire. Obviously don't open it, but that will help with that process, and that's why this piece was created. The other thing is on the hose testing, most of them have emailed me about the hose testing, and I will be getting with Ann to make sure our numbers are, we've got that amount allotted. I've got the quotes back from FireCap for the ones that emailed me, and we listed that night, the last meeting. I have that quote back. I told him I'd call him when I get back from the trip next week. But he said that they would have no problem going to complete the hose test before June 31st. So that will be taking place, no problem. If you didn't put your name in for hose testing, but you already have it done, please still send me them numbers, because as we doing the budget, I need to make sure the contractual services, because that's what it'll be coming out of, I have enough money, and hopefully it'll get passed, because I think it's very pertinent for us to do hose testing. No different than ladder testing and pump testing, so we can get that pushed through and get that something off the fire department's plate to do that. So I still need the numbers of hose lengths you've got, not counting the ones that's already sent to you. So if you already take care of your own, if the county moves forward, it'll be taking place if you're doing your hose testing. If you didn't want to use matching funds, I still need the numbers so I can get the quotes from them. Not to move forward with it done this year, but for future purpose.
On the hose testing, who's ready to get it done?
I got the list back there.
You do, but
I got to get Lane.
okay.
I think she's already lined up.
I knew y'all and Elgin, I
Indian
think.
Land was already lined up also.
Who?
Indian Land was already lined up.
Yeah,
They
We
several
got
of
ours
them, he gave me the
February
quote, you missed it, I
26th.
got the quote already on Firecat.
okay,
He didn't quote me because someone was already in contract.
okay, good.
So that's.
I knew the people had used them already, were ready to go, but I didn't know who else was ready to go.
He said he would have the ones that want to do it on that list that we had last time. He would have it done by June.
Okay, good, good. I'm just, that's the concern that, that's the one, that's our Achilles heel right now. If we get them straight.
Any other questions on the budget? Alright, fire service moving forward, we didn't have a meeting this month just because of, holidays, it fell right in the middle of them. Anybody got questions on that? Alright, call types?
Greg, we're
Before,
planning on meeting this month.
Yes.
and before we move off that, I have had a couple of department representatives come in, not necessarily chiefs, but, people who work within the departments talking about budgets. And I did make them aware that as far as the fire department budgets, that we had gone ahead and put in a figure of 75,000 per department as a working number, because we realize it's hard for departments to come up with an actual budget that's line item based on what you do, because any one given year, you spend a whole lot more one year than you do another year, and part of that's because you may have money this year, once you spend it, you don't have it next year, so you don't do that again, or you don't budget, so it's hard to budget. And so we'd be probably moving forward with that number as a planning number, because when the money's spent, it would have to be justified anyway, so, Antioch had somebody came in, Chris Adams,
Chris
and I
Adams, yeah.
talked a little bit, and, trying to think who the other person was. Yeah, Clint came in, Clint Salvin, McDonald Green, came in and talked with him, so,
So, yeah, we'll be meeting, it should be January the 23rd. So, if anybody, if you're on the committee, there you go. And, anybody, we said if somebody wants to come and listen in, we are absolutely open. We're not,
What time was your meeting, sir?
5:30.
5:30. Yep.
5:30 on the Tuesday before, the Tuesday, the week before the fire commission is what we're saying.
January the 23rd.
That'd be the 30th.
Huh?
No,
No, that'd be,
first deal.
yeah, so, should be January the 23rd, should be the meeting, anybody wants to come, you're absolutely welcome. You know, we're still on the budget side and in the planning on, yeah, we're planning, we're talking about staffing, stations, apparatus, I mean, we're hitting the whole realm of it,
Got a question.
absolutely.
Do you need a notification of department members that will be attending, or that way you're not overrun with?
I mean, I
members,
would
or-
prefer like one from a department, if the chief wants to come, or the assistant chief, or whatever wants to come, yeah. I mean, I don't
I mean,
really want anybody to fill the room up, man.
We have a room up there won't take us so
Right.
we
But
can always go to the other classroom, we can come down here if we need to.
Yeah, I mean, I
Well, at
don't,
least
if
you
you wanna
know.
send something, absolutely, I can at least be counting on you, but,
Okay.
so, Anybody else?
The city fire marshal can be kinda tough on our stuff.
He's tough. Call types?
I haven't had any more discussions with Robert, other than I think they finally got all their upgrades on their console done, I think last night was one of the
Some
last.
of it swaps out next month.
Do what now?
Some of it swaps out next month. It's 2 parts.
They were doing some swap out last night, I know that, so, but they're just about done. He is fully staffed now, so you're hearing voices on the radio you probably not heard. It does take them a while to get through their training, but he was telling that at the director's meeting yesterday. He's fully staffed for the first time, I think, since he's been there. He does need more positions, but every position that he has available, he has somebody in. We're aware of some issues that have gone on. I've made him aware of some of those things. We don't have resolution on it yet, but they're trying to get everything up online and moving forward. And then we'll get back into where we're having a conversation with it.
Good deal. Report on first due.
Still waiting on the parser information. They had a big meeting right before the holidays, and I have a meeting scheduled for him coming up next week. I sent him an email, asked him a question that he hasn't responded back yet, but they're still working on the parser. Right now, if a structure fire gets phased out, it's pulling the primary district's call and dumping the other ones. But we need it to make a call for the other ones. It's in CAD. What First U does not affect CAD, so it's a matter of us adding it in, but we don't know what to have to sit there and add it in. And we're gonna do, once we get the firemen doing, in the field doing the reports, they're not gonna be able to do the report because they're not gonna be a call there, until we get that fixed. Other than that, that's right now with the holidays, that's all I got on that.
And as far as the billing, I don't have the invoice yet. He has, the person that I'm dealing with has talked about the final price, which I thought the final number they gave me, I thought was probably fair, based on what we're doing and how they are working with us now. For those of you who may not know, I had some surgery on an arm, so I was out of here roughly a week. I wasn't really out for 3 days, but that delayed that some, so I'm still waiting to hear back from him. I've already emailed him and told him that I was back to work, but, you know, if it's his bill to send, I'm not gonna run it down, so. But once we get it, we'll be processing that. Once I get that number, I'll let you know what that was. We've got money in the budget that's more than he and I talked about. So if that ends up being the invoice, then we'll be better off than we had thought.
Any questions on first due? AFG grant? Alright, standard committee reports, SOG.
There's the SOG in the back for, I think it's the 801.02. Just added the Indian Land Consolidated Fire District, sections 1 through 5. And it's all the highlighted items, to include, some of the fire marshal stuff that was changed. Let's take a back and look at it. Shoot an email to the SOG committee and Tony if there's any questions about it. Real enough changes it, but adding the way, Greg kind of presented everything.
And you voted at the last month's meeting to go ahead and implement it. This is putting it in writing as to how the plan was worked within the SOG. Well, you can vote tonight, or if you want to take it back, you can take it back, but that's, you find out if you want to vote. It's just putting in writing what you already adopted.
I mean, I'm gonna go ahead and vote on it.
Well, we just voted to send it to the committee, we didn't adopt it.
No, you adopted it. We were committed for the writing.
It was
I made sure the wording was
said
was
to
adopted.
send to the SOG committee to be written, but it wasn't.
To put it in the
Pull
SOG
back
committee,
what it
the
said.
change of the numbered system was adopted.
When the nomination was written.
You can do a roll call back.
So,
You
do the
didn't,
roll
because
call
we're
vote.
waiting on the written part to do the roll call vote.
says in the minutes.
Yeah, that it was adopted,
We adopted it and we wait for Luke to see it.
the written copy as it goes into the SOG.
It passed 11-6, wasn't it?
Yeah. So,
Do we move forward and vote on it?
it's your committee's report, what do you wanna do with that?
I mean, I would assume, go ahead, since it's been adopted, I would assume go ahead and vote on it.
When you're voting on the language is what you're
Right.
voting on, the way it's
Right.
done.
Just roll call vote for us.
It does need to be a roll call vote tonight, yes.
So we'll-
I got a question before we go. This item G down here, where it's got current station 10, Indian Land Station 1 and Station 2, are they gonna take that out as Indian Land Station 1?
Yeah.
I get confused on this thing if it just says Station 1.
Well, and we're already getting confusion too, because they're doing that with EMS, Station 1. They're doing it, and then of course we have Station 1, Station 2. City Fire has Station 1, Station 2, and we'll have Station 3. So we're asking them to make sure they're putting names on it when they're phasing things out. And when they're talking to people on the radio too, so that if we got a call going with a 1, 2, or 3, or 4, or whatever, and we hear somebody come on, you know, Station 2, we'll know who they're talking to. So,
I'll
and
just
I'm
read
talking about
that right there,
EMS or
make sure.
fire, or whatever.
Put Indian Land in front of Station 1 on y'all's end.
Yes.
I was like, per the narrative here, it's saying, it doesn't say that you're gonna respond as Indian Land Station, Indian Land Engine 1, Indian Land Tower 1, Indian Land Tower, it just says Engine 1, Tower 1, and Tower 4. So, are you gonna respond that way, or is that the way it's gonna be written for the verbiage? Because if we already have EMS doing it, City Fire doing it, our trucks are already, our stations are already Station 1, 2, and 3, and we're adding another one. I mean, are we creating more confusion here with this?
Well, it's inferred they're supposed to be using it, but now that can be changed and added, that it will state Indian Land in front of those names.
Kinda like truck 1 and truck 2, and City Fire
Well,
got
see,
truck 1 and truck 2.
Our guys are pretty careful about saying County Fire Truck 1, but if dispatcher doesn't hear that, cause that's one of the things, they put Billy on a call for City Fire Truck 4. And they put F4 on the call, which we need to go on that call. So we know that's one of the confusion, and I've talked to Robert about that already too, so he's supposed to be working on that with the dispatcher. But it is inferred because all of this is Indian land, everything is supposed to be preceded with Indian land, whatever.
Can you get that added in?
I don't think that would be a problem at all. You could do that now, if you wanna go ahead and vote on this, so you can adopt it, and we can add that verbiage in there. So everywhere you're talking about where all the apparatus numbers correspond, you want Indian Land put in front of each one of those, and on each delineation for Station 2 as well. And Tony can send that out as a revision, just. Everybody okay with that change?
Got any other questions?
I got one more. Is there not a simpler one that we could use to fix all of us?
Again,
I mean, a numbering system consecutive with the engines, the tankers, ladders, I mean consecutive numbers rather than creating another separate set for Station 10. I mean, now we've created another section just for Station 10 when we had to state ours on the engines or all our other stations. Is there not one that we can do for everybody? I mean, engine one, engine two, all the way up through however many engines we have, towers, of the tankers, rescues, to simplify a little bit of it.
That's not my vote.
I'm just
That's,
asking.
yeah, I mean, y'all can bring it up and look at whatever you want, I mean, we absolutely look at it, that's what y'all want.
As they consolidated, see, they have a board, an advisory board that they answer to, not so much answer to, but it's involved in their decisions. This is the way they wanted to move consolidated. So if another station wanted to do that, or if we hear this going and it works good, it may be that we change the way we do it and do the entire county. That'd be something the board would make a decision on at a future date.
I mean, that, absolutely, send something in, if that's, if you got ideas, something in.
I don't have a plan written in front of me, so.
Oh, I know that, I'm
But
just
I
saying.
mean, I just, you see why I'm asking the question of, a separate, other system, and, I was talking with Tony the other day about this, about whenever he was researching creating this SOG that we follow already now from, just using Antioch as 101, and then 102, and then 121, and then 122, for extra engines. And I think there was another one that where they was looking at that would have made it a little bit more simpler, that was universal, but this is the one they decided on. If we can just change it as we're going along, that's a great thing, I guess. All we gotta do is just bring it up here and bring it to the SOG committee to change it, but, I see one changing it.
As a system,
We're all still
as
working
our
on this
system
system
grows,
here.
we're gonna have to adapt.
Okay.
So this is one of the adaptations we're gonna try. This one is consolidated, because that's gonna be a huge department.
Okay, I was just curious what they do if they decide they wanna add another engine into one of their current stations, what are they gonna do?
We won't be. I mean, I can't afford to staff it on that many trucks. If we're gonna staff an engine and a tower or ladder at the stations and down the road at another one station, maybe a tanker or whatever.
And if we've only built this out for 5 stations, they could end up with a dozen stations with the population up there by the time it's over. But again, that's why we just adapt as time goes forward. I think any of us will be here when that happens, but it's possible. Because they're becoming a little Charlotte as it is.
Any other questions? You said vote or?
I think you move on to vote on it, vote, we get that revision.
Yeah, you'd be voting with the revision to be made.
Yes. Yes. No.
Yes. Yes. No.
Yes. I'm supposed to be quiet. That's why I said that.
No, 17.
No.
10 no and 4 yeses.
You're supposed to revise the SOG and vote on it again.
Yeah,
I mean,
That's my question, was it wrote wrong, or?
It's always put it in the way everybody voted on. If everybody's got an issue with it, then they'll take something back out and get something back out of it. Good talk.
Yeah, good though. I mean, was it
I'm sorry.
not the way we voted on it last month,
No,
or?
So
I'm confused.
it was sent back out, and everybody agreed to it in the last meeting to go with it. If there's an issue with it, nobody's really said anything about it being an issue other than the people last time. So that's why I was moved forward, and Tony wrote it up last week and sent it back out.
and use the document that was used as part of the actual.
Yeah, it's the same document.
It's the same thing that everybody, when I say everybody, a lot of people agreed on last time. It's been a good document.
I think, you know, from our station, it's just the, I mean, we already had an SOG wrote, and I understand they consolidated, but our number system works, and it works for our office here, and knowing what trucks, it's 1001, 1002, 1003, there's no distinction when radio numbers are called, that's what it is.
We
It's
can't,
not-
we can't use that.
So why not?
Because I'm not gonna wake every station up to set one tone off, so it has to have different station numbers. I can't have all stations under the number 10.
Just out of curiosity, why couldn't you use the 14 or even, and I'm just asking a question.
Yeah, I mean, we looked at that, we looked at having station 10, 14, and then I think it'd go to 20,
We'll
whatever.
go back and grab 13.
20 something.
I'm just throwing those
Yeah.
ideas out there. I'm just curious.
We looked at multiple things, we looked at the 10, but there again, each station has a number they can dispatch out to, and.
It's not just a matter of numbering the
But
trucks,
so
it's how
we-
dispatch has to.
Yes,
That's
so
dispatch.
I don't want, if I do 10 and each 10:01 is at station 1, 10:02 is at station 2, at 2 o'clock in the morning, if station 1 gets a call, then it wakes every station up because it's only one tone.
So how are you gonna, when you build your other, well, I know you already got 2 stations, but even 3, you're gonna have 3 different frequencies on tones?
Yeah.
So how would that number, if you had 1002 at station 2, how would a different tone for station 2 wake up station 1? If 1002's at station 2? I don't understand.
It won't, that's what he's saying.
He's
It won't,
saying,
it won't wake them up.
he said you got station 1, station 2, station 3.
Yeah.
Instead of,
That numbered system we set up because we know down the road it's gonna be a city, so we're setting it up for a city type, station numbering system.
And I understand that part, to me, if you're still working under the umbrella of this office, it should follow. That's what I voted no the first time for, it should just follow that current SOG. Until you divide, until you separate from his office.
But doesn't the city work under the umbrella of this office?
They're their own reporting agency, they got their own secretary that does stuff,
They're still part of the fire commission.
they're part of the fire commission, but their reports don't come in here, and we don't have to divide who's got this call.
So you're saying that, what is this
So
station,
What he's saying is that as a director of this office, I support this plan, and the people who work in here need to do that, but they've decided that I don't know how to run my own office, is what they're saying.
Well, my question is this office, what's the number on y'all have, 21?
Yeah, that's what they do, that's what they do on the pad.
Station 21.
But y'all have truck 1, truck 2, truck 3, so instead of 2101, 2102, that's what you're.
We have to say Lancaster County Fire Rescue.
I mean, I can say Indian Land Engine 1, I'm just asking, so if y'all's office is 21, then why don't y'all go by 2101, 2102, 2103? You go truck 1, truck 2, truck 3, no different than what we're asking. if we're all falling under this umbrella,
It's just the way the SOG was wrote when that one was adopted. I don't have
and that's
to
the
do
way
that.
it's wrote now, and we're trying to adopt this.
And it was adopted last month,
Yes.
Yeah.
and I don't understand how it got swapped over, so.
Well, I understand how it happened,
I
but,
do.
but I don't know that that's necessarily.
I need to call and get together.
Yep. Alright, strategic planning,
Nothing at this time.
apparatus,
Do
we have anything?
We're going for the city's tower final inspection, Sunday, for their final inspection, and then shortly after that, it will be coming, about 3 or 4 weeks or whatever, come to Spartan Fire Apparatus for their final checks and make sure that punch list was done, and then it'll be coming here. Projected date for the final on Tower 1, Tower 2 is the 28th, I gotta talk to you about it, it's 28th of January, so there will be final inspection after that. We figured it was gonna come shortly, after the city's tower. The pictures look good, if anybody wants to see any pictures of them, they look pretty much complete to me. One of them didn't have the tower on it yet, correct?
Neither one of ours has got it on it,
Okay,
unless
I
you
thought-
see,
I thought one
they
of-
come out tomorrow.
Okay, well, I didn't.
They had the tower,
We
it's
didn't
not a
get one
pin
last
yet.
Friday, okay.
Yeah,
They had the torque box and everything else on it.
yeah, they had the tower and the bucket and all that's got the lettering on it, but wasn't pinned last.
It's just a matter of putting it together, it's more than that, but, doing the final on that. Barring weather, cause it's supposed to snow up there Tuesday, so we'll see how it goes. And, that'll be, once we get them here and get them in service, and we're still lacking some equipment. We got to get a vendor on that, and they are aware. I talked to them to get the command post stuff. So, barring that, that'll be the only trucks we got out, other than 2 maintenance trucks out and about.
Have we heard anything on the county purchase? Any updates? Nothing?
That, I know he's talked to council about it, they talked, well, Bill and I went in and met with him in executive session and went over a good bit of stuff, that we didn't wanna talk about in public. But as far as movement, I think if they do anything, it's probably gonna be the $16 million original recommendation, but I don't know that for sure. And a timeline, I'm not sure about either. I know that, the council has a retreat that's gonna be going on, and that's supposed to be part, I think, of the discussion. And when I say that, he's gonna be talking about funding for fire service moving, as we're moving forward. And are we doing millage? Council's gotta make those decisions. They wanna do millage or fees or what they wanna do. They've also gotta make a decision to change y'all to millage and how to do that. So that's gonna be as part of their retreat. We brought that up on Monday at our staff meeting. So I don't know, beyond that, I don't have a clue.
There's a consideration of changing the north end from a fee-based district to village.
Yes. They've had that discussion when they did, what they did on the consolidation as it stands right now was a stopgap measure to get enough funding, because they increased the fee substantially, to get enough funding to go ahead and get the staffing going and started and get things moving, but it has nothing in it to capital. Meaning build Station 3, it had, or Station 4 or whatever, or even buy trucks at a later date if they're buying trucks out of sequence with what we do here. So, and buying it out of their own budget. So they know they've gotta do something. They either gotta go way up on the fee, or they've gotta go to millage and keep the fee on the fee low agreement groups up there, because particularly in what was the Pleasant Valley District, the fee low agreements are substantial numbers. I'm talking probably 40 of them in their district alone. If you have a fee low agreement with the county and they go millage, you don't pay a dime. But right now they pay the fee, because the fee low agreement agreements don't exempt them from fees, but they do exempt them from ad valorem, which is what the village would do.
Time frame on the command post, where we at on that?
Waiting on radios and littering.
Alright.
The littering guy should be coming by here. He said it'll be after the first year before he get by here.
And so, do we have a response guide and all for that, or like, who will be delivering it, or who will be bringing it if a department
Right
needs
now,
it,
there'll
or?
be staff out of here.
Okay.
Because it's got to be set up and it's.
Right. Yeah. Alright, budget planning,
We've already done about what, unless somebody's got something else they want to add on the budget.
Bert,
Nope.
station announcements.
Before we do that, I'd like to make another comment on the SOG we talked about. Any way you could look at doing a different engine number instead of engine 1 and 2, since the city's already got it? Which I never understood why the county had truck 1 and the city had truck 1. It just seemed like it'd be less complicated if you just had engine 31, engine 32.
We'll look at it.
We need to incorporate as well, staff truck in here, to make that different as well. That's gonna be like I said, that's gonna be a kind of an issue. If it is truck 1, truck 2, and city's got truck 1, truck 2.
It's always been an issue.
Yep.
That's why we had to say county fire truck, and they were supposed to say city truck 1, county fire truck 1.
Is that something y'all wanna add into that, to add into this SOG, or leave it the way it is?
I think it'd be easier understood, and less confusion if you didn't have the same numbers on the different vehicles.
What's the truck designation for the city? Is that an engine or is that a pickup truck or a?
Are you talking about truck 1?
Yeah.
No,
That's
That's their utility, they got pickup trucks.
I don't know why I'm answering that, because I really don't know what y'all do, so.
So when y'all come out with an engine, is it city fire engine 1?
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
You say engine one.
It's always been engine 1.
Yeah.
That ain't gonna work now.
Either that, there's where the conflict will come in. I agree with what Stacy's saying, if there's a different way to where it just doesn't mess up the CAD system.
That's why I was asking earlier about maybe a different type of system that fits everybody.
I understand the conversation.
We'll look at it.
Hang on, we'll have to go back and vote again, because we've already voted to approve it. That's what I think there's confusion. The only vote tonight was to approve the SOG or not, the verbiage of it. So we're gonna have to backtrack, right? And vote something else up. So just,
Let's go to rescind what was done previously, what kind of way I'm taking it.
We'll look at it. Obviously, there's a huge issue with it, with everybody or most people, so we'll absolutely look at it and we'll come back with something else. I mean, I don't know what else to do. It wasn't an issue last month, but obviously in 31 days, it's become a big issue, so I'll relook at it and bring something back.
Thinking, why are we changing? Why not go ahead and make it clarified, since everybody using the same dispatch? Why not everybody get together and have a list of truck numbers and nobody use the same numbers already been used?
I mean, all I can say for us is I'll come back with something. Let me talk to the staff and see what we can come up with. I mean, we've got to get something done because 14's gone. We're still using it because we've been waiting on this for 2 months now. Everything's loaded in dispatch, ready to push a button, but we'll look at it. Let me talk to my people. We'll look at it on our side and see what we can come up with.
I don't think there's an issue if it's Indian engine 1.
I mean,
And then we
this
can
is,
get the city to do city engine 1. I mean,
I don't understand the issue anyway. I mean,
you're gonna be
90% of the people around us run the exact same numbering system.
Yeah.
And there'll be 4 engine 1s on the scene and it works, but obviously it's not gonna work here. So there again, I'll bring something back to y'all and y'all can vote on it again. Any station announcements?
We got our barbecue The 20th.
The
Chicken.
20th,
Yeah. Chicken and pork.
Community barbecues February 24th.
you said barbecue.
February
February.
24th.
Anybody else?
We got our chicken rice like
I'm sorry,
third,
3rd of February?
yeah, the Saturday of, first Saturday of February.
Is it downgraded? It used to be the world famous chicken.
Shiloh's Chicken Barbecue, February 3rd.
Anybody else?
Oh, yeah, Shiloh's is February 3rd. Chicken barbecue.
What is it?
Chicken barbecue.
Chicken barbecue.
Smoked chicken.
Anybody else? Motion to adjourn.
Make a motion.
Second.